I'm sorry. This is one of the most ridiculous stats I have ever seen. Caitlin Clark already has more career assists than 75% of all players in W history. Before we get on, if you guys aren't new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 25.4k by the end of the day. But for me, this is an absolutely wild statistic right here. You know it's bad. You know it's bad when I randomly added a letter H between the S and the T. It's not just a statistic, it's a statistic. It's that crazy. But Stat Mamba, oh, you're going to cause a lot of arguments. WNBA is over 1,000 players in league history. This was confirmed using StatHead as well. Where are you getting 696 players? There's definitely been a lot more than 696 players. Like I don't think that's anything. I don't know what that's been. But that is a wild stat. And I will say, that stat alone doesn't necessarily show why she should be Rookie of the Year. I genuinely do think that like it's not close in the Rookie of the Year conversation, but I think it's just a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of everything, with the passing being the best thing. But again, like we can just kind of stop talking about like the Rookie of the Year and being like, oh, it's this major debate. Caitlin Clark, I've seen her as low as 4,000 to 1, or not 4,000 to 1, minus 4,000. Like that's the legitimate odds right now on some betting platforms, with only 12% of bets going to Caitlin Clark and like 80% of them going to Angel Reese or something. So yeah, the bookies aren't losing that much money on this one. But yeah, it does just show just how generational a passer that she is. Look, and that's not even like, look, Chelsea Gray was a great passer. Sue Bird was a great passer. Teacher Penichero, maybe a better passer. But that's it. That's it. Like there's no other question. There's no question about it as far as anyone else is concerned. There is no other player as far as being a passer that is in the stratosphere of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. There's just not. She is that much better. And I do think that it's okay to admit that this new generation of female basketball players, like they learned from the players before them. Like that's the thing, is like we've seen it in the NBA. I don't know why I said real. Like it's obviously like it's a sport, but we've seen it in the NBA that players, there was a stage where there was a huge gap in just the skill level of players and just the way the game was played about 10, 12 years ago. That the actual way the sport was played did not change much between, say, the 1950s and Michael Jordan. And like there were teams like the Showtime Lakers and stuff, but Michael Jordan really was the first guard-led team that was successful. So people started playing through guards then. And then nothing really changed that much between Michael Jordan and Stephen Curry as far as the way the sport was played. Like the triangle was still a winning offense. You were still seeing heavy isolation players. The Carmelo Anthony style of play was still win you games. And then just the game changed. The game changed from under a lot of people, and mainly caused by Steph Curry, and now everyone's shooting threes. And I think we're going through a stage where I think the WNBA will eventually hit that. But I think we're going through the pace stage. I think a big reason why Caitlin Clark is able to get so many assists is that she generates layups. Like, there are people that can pass the ball well. For example, again, like a Chelsea Gray. A Chelsea Gray passes the ball. But she's a good passer, but she's not the one who generates the wide open layup. She's not the one that gets the ball to her player wide open. She can throw crazy passes. Well, to be fair, so can Caitlin Clark. But there's a difference in passing. And it's why, for example, a Magic Johnson or a Steve Nash, in most people's eyes, are considered better passers, or at least better playmakers. Maybe not better passers, because passing and playmaking are different things. Are considered better playmakers than White Chocolate. Like, you can't deny that White Chocolate is probably the most, for lack of a better word, like saucy passer there's ever been. Like, as far as flair players are concerned, what he could do with the ball, not many people. And a lot of people are like, oh, White Chalk would be better nowadays. Like, no, because he was never that good at playmaking. And we all know that he was replaced with Mike Bibby, and instantly the Kings became contenders. So he was more flash than substance. And I'm not saying that about a Chelsea Gray. She's a great passer, or a Sue Bird, who was elite as well. Maybe you could say that to an extent about a Teacher Penichero, but Caitlin Clark is just the best playmaker the league has ever seen as a rookie. And that's not to say that there's not going to be better playmakers coming up. I don't think from looking at college basketball that there's one on the level of Caitlin Clark. But I do think that there's going to be a kid that grows up watching Caitlin Clark, that grows up watching these players play, that has a similar motor and a similar mentality to Caitlin Clark, that could surpass her while she's still in the league. I think that there's a possibility for that. And I think that anyone saying that there's not a possibility for that, or doesn't want there to be a possibility, just isn't a fan of the sport. Like, I really enjoy watching, and especially I watched the Germany and Belgium game. As bad as Belgium were, the actual brand of basketball that was played by Belgium and Germany is good to watch. It's good to watch. Like, there are some teams that I just can't stand watching in the W. But I watched the Australia-Nigeria game. Like, the way the game of women's basketball is played outside of the NBA, of the WNBA, is incredible. And it's just now going to be a case of who is going to be the first coach to fully buy into that style in the W. And it's a lot easier to do when you've got Caitlin Clark. But, like, the pace that Julie Van Loo plays with when she plays at Belgium is very good. Like what Julie Allemond was doing. I'm looking forward to seeing in like 25 minutes to watching Maureen Johannes for France. So, yeah, it's a crazy stat, but it's not that surprising. Like, the most assists in a game for a season in the WNBA. And I'm not counting assists in a game season WNBA. I'm just looking that one up right now. And I'm not counting anything in the bubble. The Courtney Vandersloot year does not count for the bubble. And the crazy thing about that is, if you don't count bubble year, where there was no fans, nothing, Caitlin Clark broke the assist record by 3. Like, just the reason why we don't count bubble is that, like, we don't count what's his name? TJ Warren. His 50 point. No one remembers any of that other than it was the bubble game. Nobody really remembers that. But to be fair, 9 assists a game. So Caitlin Clark she was averaging about 6 assists a game a while ago, and now she's up to 8.2. So the actual record is 9.0. So it was not that long ago. So what does Caitlin Clark need to average? She probably needs to average 10 assists a game the rest of the way to break the real record. And nobody has averaged 10 for a season. Like, I think that's happening. I think the Caitlin Clark 10 assist season is happening next year. I'm not joking. I think it's going to happen next year. Like, right now, she is at 5. She is at 5 in all-time assists per game. Like, the first 6 seasons up until this year were all Courtney Vandersloot. And she's already gone in the middle of Courtney Vandersloot. And the fact is that she was down at like 6.5 a month ago. And even, like, you look in Chelsea Gray last year, she's an entire assist a game more than that. I think we see Caitlin Clark this year go to number 2. Like, she's not going to get up to 10 assists a game. That's not happening. But I think after the Olympic break, I can see her averaging 10 assists the rest of the way. Like, she's going to break the all-time assists in a season record. Not per game, but totals. She's without question going to break the totals. I think she just needs to average like 7 or something for the rest, or 7-ish for the rest of the year. Like, she needs to average less than her current average to break the total assist record, which she's going to do. And yeah, it's the most impressive passing season we've seen from a rookie ever, without question.